Hey tech enthusiast, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are diving into world of Wi-Fi routers 2023. In an increasingly connected world, having a fast Wi-Fi connection is very important. If you are looking up to a fast connection for your office or home, you're in the right place. You can buy these amazing routers from links given in the description below. We will start from number 5. Number 5. Asus ROG Rapture GTX 11000. As the first 802.11x router we've reviewed, the Asus ROG Rapture GTX 11000 sets the pace for others to follow. Aggressive angular and with Asus Republic of Gaming ROG logo lit in LEDs, the GTX 11000 is a router to show off, not hide. The router's 8 screw-on antennas can swivel and rotate to best aim the GTX 11000 signal, but it runs the risk of looking like a coat rack. It has soft rubber feet to avoid scratching your furniture. On the other hand, Asus engine-powered by Broadcom's BCM 43684 Wi-Fi chip. It creates a tri-band 802.11x network that is also known as Wi-Fi 6. It can tap into the latest wireless techniques, including orthogonal frequency division multiple access, OFDMA, dynamic frequency selection, and the ability to use any of 15 5 GHz bands for the clearest signal. NetGear's left out any provision for mounting the GTX 11000 on a wall. It fit nicely on a bookshelf. Inside, the chip has a quad-core 1.8 GHz processor, 1 GB of RAM, and 256 MB of space for firmware and settings. It is one fast router, with the ability to theoretically push 4.8 Gbps on each of its 2.5 GHz transmission bands, and 1.2 Gbps on its 2.4 GHz channel. It's rated at having a maximum of 10.8 Gbps to wireless devices with 802.11x hardware. On the other hand, there are only a handful of 802.11x devices available, so it will be some time before the GTX 11000 and other similar routers reach its full potential. The GTX 11000 router is like a gamer's dream come true, with a low-latency design to help blow away the competition in alien attacks, medieval sword duels, and urban car chases. Alongside the device's 4 downstream gigabit Ethernet ports is a single 2.5G base TE Ethernet connection for those who prefer wired connections. Rated at a maximum throughput of 2.5 Gbps, few gaming computers support this standard, but several chips that can take advantage of this speed boost are in the works. There is a row of LED indicators on the front of the boxy router. They show what's happening inside, with small lights for power, which bands are active, low EAN connection, LAN data movement, the wireless protected setup, the BPS, and whether its 2.5G connection is being used. In addition, there are switches for powering it up, Wi-Fi transmissions, WPS, and the boost feature. The system has a recessed rest button to return it to its factory specs and software. Along with its WEM broadband connection and 2.5G fast wired connection, the GTX 11000 has the expected complement of 4 downstream gigabit LAN ports. There's also a pair of USB 3.0 connectors for attaching a data drive or printer to the router for network use. Number 4. TP-Link Archer AX6000. In a world of look-alike routers, the TP-Link Archer AX6000 stands out with a squarish design that at 10.3 x 10.2 x 2.4 inches is bigger than the Lynx's MR9600. Slide up its 8 pivoting antennas and the Archer AX6000 is an additional 2.3 inches taller. The antennas can't be replaced or aimed. It has soft rubber feet, inserts underneath for wall mounting, and the entire top and bottom have vents to keep the router from overheating. Even when we tested it with a heavy workload, the case never got hotter than 98 degrees Fa based on Broadcom's BCM 43684 Wi-Fi chipset. The Archer AX6000 uses the same underlying technology as the Lynx's MR9600. It has a 1.8 GHz quad-core processor, 1 GB of RAM, and 128 MB of flash storage space for firmware and settings instead of the rack's 512 MB. The Archer AX6000 combines ultra-wide 160-inch channels with beamforming technology to efficiently move data back and forth to several devices at once. Its dual-band 802.11 AX design creates 5 GHz and 2.4 GHz networks that are rated at 4.804 Gbps and 1.148 Gbps. This unlike some of its flashy competitors. The Archer AX6000 has a single understated LED on top that lights up red while starting up and turns to blue when everything is okay. It can be turned off with a switch on the rotor's side and is next to the rotor's WPS, Wi-Fi protected setup, key for quickly adding devices to the network. The device also has a button for turning off the Wi-Fi transmissions, effectively changing the Archer AX6000 into a wired router. Sit a step behind tri-band routers, which have an extra 5 GHz band for extra bandwidth. TP-Link outfits the router with both a single USB 3.0 and a USB-C port for connecting to a printer or external hard drive. Number 3. NetGear Orbee Wi-Fi 6E RBKE963. The Orbee RBKE963 kit I looked at consisted of the RBRE960 host router and a pair of RBSE960 satellites that used the 2.4, 5, and 6 GHz Wi-Fi bands for sending data back and forth. Together, the entire system can NetGear's designers, engineers, and software writers have brought mesh routing into the high-performance Wi-Fi 6E era with the Orbee RBKE963 kit. Both the router and the satellites have Orbee's distinctive rounded tower shape, but are huge at 11.1 at 7.5 at 3.0 inches. That's 7 times the size of the Amazon Eero mesh devices, and twice as big as the already large Asus Zen Wi-Fi AXXT8 mesh units, over up to 9,000 square feet, according to NetGear engineers more than 3 times. Number 2. The Asus RTA86U is the follow-on design to the popular Asus RTA86U gaming router, bringing it into the high-performance Wi-Fi 6 world, while it retains its predecessor's angular folded origami design. It's a far cry from the more conventional Lynx's Maxstream MR8300, as well as the black and red color palette. The AX version lacks the AC model's pair of vertical racing stripes. It measures 9.0 x 6.7 x 3.1 inches, although after screwing in its 3 antennas, the height rises by 6 inches. It lacks recessed inserts for wall mounting, but looks good on a bookshelf or desk. Meant to stand vertically, the RTA86U has cooling vents in front and along the top, and kept its cool, even with data flying back and forth. It had a peak temperature of 105 degrees Fahrenheit. Based on a week of testing using Ixia's X-Chariot's network simulation benchmark in my 100-year-old 3,500 square foot home. Number 1. NetGear Nighthawk RXE500. Stealing a page from the Nighthawk AX8 router, the NetGear Nighthawk RXE500 can be thought of as its newer and larger brother. It retains the A-wing design that makes it look like something out of a Star Wars prequel. It's a far cry from conventional-looking routers like the Lynx's Maxstream MR8300, but at 12.0 x 8.6 x 3.3 inches, it's among the largest routers available. Each wing has 4 antennas inside, and when they're opened, the RXE500 is 4 inches taller. The black-winged RXE500 rotor can be hidden away or proudly displayed, and is as close to sculpture as networking gear gets. Underneath, the RXE500 has thick rubber feet and 2 inserts for hanging it on a wall. It has vents up front and underneath as well as a cooling fan. During our evaluation, the fan ran intermittently, and the router never got above 112 degrees Fahrenheit. With its ability to move data back and forth in the 2.4, 5 and 6 GHz bands, the Asus RTA86U blew other routers away. And if you guys liked this video or learned something, please give it a like and be sure to check out the description for links to find the most up-to-date pricing on all the products mentioned in this video. That's all till next time.